Okay, so our goal in this lesson is to add some animated buttons to our member cards. And before I do, actually, I'm just going to deal with this duplicate image situation and just demonstrate how I'm going to do it, just in case you do need to tweak something in your database and you don't want to go through the whole dropping of the database and recreating the database, then you might want to take a look at this. And I'm going to use dbeaver. It's just a universal database tool that allows me to view a database. And unfortunately, the tool that we're using inside VS Code doesn't allow for editing, or it allows for SQL queries, but writing a SQL query to edit a row in a database is somewhat beyond my level of competence when it comes to database functionality. So I'm going to use a tool to do this, and I've downloaded and I have this one available. It's this tool here, dbeaver. And I can go ahead and make a connection to a SQLite database. I can choose from many different databases. So I'm going to select this one, and we just need to connect to the database. It's a file, so I'm just going to open the file. And inside the API folder, I'm just going to open up the datingDB. And then I can go ahead and test the connection, and it says connected. And this does need a driver, so if you test a connection, it will tell you if you need to download a driver, and then I can say finish, and now I have a connection to the database. So in the case of the photos, then let's go back and just double check. I've got the user seed data open, and where is he? Skinner has a photo with an ID of 11, and Porter has a photo with an ID of 87. So it looks like there's just some duplicate in the API. So I'm going to change this one that is 11, and I'm going to set it to 12, and hope that doesn't duplicate anything, and press return, and then we can just save it. And that's our database updated, as easy as that with a tool like this. So if I go back to the browser and I refresh the page, then I should find that Skinner has drastically changed his appearance. So now that we have that, let's deal with the animated buttons. So we'll go back to our HTML, and we need to go to the member card HTML. And underneath the image, we're going to add some buttons. But we're going to do this inside a list. So we're going to have an unordered list, and we're going to give this a class. And we're going to use more Bootstrap styling. So we're going to have list inline, and we're going to say member icons dash icons. That's going to be our own class. We're going to say animate and text dash center. And inside the unordered list, we're going to have list items. And I'm going to give this a class. And this is going to be a list dash inline dash item. And inside the list item, we're going to have a button, and we'll give it a class and say btn btn-primary. And inside the buttons, I'm just going to use an icon. So I'm going to say I and tab and give this a class and say fa and fa-user. And I'm just going to copy this list item down 2 more times. And we're just going to change the icon for the button. So this one's going to be fa-heart, as we'll use that one to like other users. And this one's going to be fa-envelope, which we'll use to take them to the messages. And if we go and check our progress, then we can see that we've got our different buttons, but we've got some styling issues now. So we need to move these buttons up. And to do that, we're going to absolutely position them and effectively hide them until somebody hovers over the card. And we're going to sort of animate them upwards. So let's go back to our CSS file. And in order to absolutely position something, we need to make its parent relative. So we're effectively going to absolutely position this unordered list. And its parent is listdiv with the card image wrapper. So we need to make that relative, and then we can make our unordered list positioned absolutely. So we'll go back to member card component CSS, and we're going to give this a position of relative for the card image wrapper. And then we're going to target the member-icons, the class we've created inside there, and we're going to give this a position of absolute. And then we can give it some positional attributes. So we're going to say bottom and say minus 30% because we want it to start off the screen. Or off the card, I should say, not off the screen. And then we're going to give it a left property of 0, a right property of 0, and we're going to say margin dash right of auto and margin dash left of auto so that it's positioned centrally, and we'll give it an opacity of 0 so it's effectively hidden. And we'll also target the hover property of the card image wrapper. So we're going to say card image wrapper colon hover dot member dash icons, and we're going to say bottom of 0 and opacity of 1, so they're visible. And then we're going to target the animate property, or animate class I should say, and we're going to say transition, and we'll say all and 0.3 seconds or 0.3 s, and we're going to say ease in and out. And what this should mean, if we go back and take a look, is that now we've got animated buttons and things are sort of zooming in and sliding up as we hover over each of these. And whilst these buttons don't do anything yet, they will do, of course, a bit later. So that will do for the styling of our cards for the time being. And next we're going to take a look at a better way of sending up our token so that we can authenticate our requests with the API server. And we'll take a look at that next.